Welcome to the video of solving rational equation. This is the question that we are going to work on right now. Then let's just get to work, and then we'll just kind of talk about what are the things that we need to be careful, what are the things that we need to pay attention to. Solving equations, rational equations. First, we have x over x plus 2 minus 7 over 5 minus x. That's equal to 14 over x squared minus 3x minus 10. In here, I actually see a problem here, and the problem is not because we have fraction, and the problem is this one. I have 5 minus x. Usually, we like to have x in the front, just like this one, x plus 2, or like x squared minus 3x minus 10. But in this case, I have the number, the 5 minus x. This is what we're going to do first. I'm going to switch the order of this term right here. Even though it's a subtraction, but we can still switch the order. I can put the x first, but we'll just have to be careful of one thing. So this term, I'm not going to do anything with it yet. Let me just copy it down. I have minus, I have the 7, I have over, and as I said, I want to write x first. And then still subtraction, I have the 5. Okay, we can do this, but I need to make sure that I put a parentheses and then make the result negative. Okay, so let me just give you a quick example of why I can do that. So, little note right here. Let's say I have 5 minus 2. Well, that's equal to positive 3, right? But what happens if I switch the order of subtraction right here? What if I do 2 minus 5? 2 minus 5 is a result of negative 3. So as you can see that whenever you switch the order of subtraction, you just need to make the result negative. Okay, so let me kind of just draw a box right here. Okay, and then this is the same. 14 over x squared minus 3x minus 10. And the next step is look at all the denominators and then try to factor if it's possible. This is the one that's factorable, so we're going to factor that. So the first one stays the same, x over x plus 2. The second one, I'm subtracting a negative, and that's actually a positive, right? It becomes a plus. Plus 7 over x minus 5. That will be equal to 14 on the top. Over, I'm going to factor out the denominator, and let me get ready by putting 2 parentheses first. What times 12 will be x squared? I need an x and an x. What times 12 will be negative 10, and then they add to negative 3. And the correct combination is negative 5 and positive 2. Okay? And now once we have the denominator factored, we are going to determine the LCD, the lowest common denominator of these 3 terms. So in this case, we have the LCD. Okay. As we can see that we have x plus 2 in common, and I just need to write that down once. So I need the x plus 2. I need the x plus 2. Excuse me. And then I see the x minus 5, x minus 5. That's also what we need. It's in common. I just need to write it down once. X minus 5. Parentheses. Okay. So that's the second thing that we need to do. Determine the LCD. And then what we are going to do with this, we are going to multiply all these 3 terms by x plus 2 and x minus 5. Okay, so let's do that. X plus 2 times x minus 5. And as you can see that, this is why that I purposely leave a big gap in between of all these terms. Okay? X plus 2, x minus 5. And then right here, again, x plus 2, x minus 5. So multiply everything by the lowest common denominator, the lowest common multiple of the denominators. If we do this correctly, if we found the LCD correctly, once we multiply this, then we shouldn't get any more fraction. Let's check this out. First term, I have x plus 2 and this x plus 2, right? the x plus 2 on the denominator can be cancelled with this x plus 2. That's nice. So let's cancel that. And then I will get x times x minus 5 plus this x minus 5 on the denominator cancels out with that x minus 5. Cancel, cancel. So 7 times x plus 2 equals to the third term. This 2x minus 5, they cancel. And then the x plus 2, they also cancel. So I just have 14. I just have 14 left on the right hand side. This is very nice. We don't have any more fractions. Okay? So I'm going to just focus on this now. And now how do we solve this regular equation, right? This is much easier. This is much easier to deal with rather than fraction. Usual business. Whenever we have parentheses and something in front of the parentheses, take this x, distribute it inside. So x times x, I first get x squared. And take x times negative 5, I have minus 5x. Continue. I have parentheses here. Take this 7, the number in front of the parentheses, distribute inside. 7 times x, I have a positive 7x plus 7x. I have a positive 7 plus 7. Take this times the positive 2. So we get plus 14. And that's equal to 14 on the right hand side. And then, as we can see that on the left hand side, these two terms can be combined. I have a negative 5x plus 7x. So that's a total of positive 2x. Then altogether I get x squared. This 2 becomes plus 2x. Let me just make some notes. This and that becomes positive 2x plus 14. It's equal to 14. And now we actually have a quadratic equation. We have x to the second power, x, and no x, right? And another number right here. So the step to solve a quadratic equation is make one side equal to 0, which we can just make this side equal to 0. We have a positive 14 right here. So what am I going to do is minus 14, right? Minus 14. Because 14, the positive 14 in black, minus 14, this 14 in red, they become 0. And still have the equal sign. But I cannot just minus 14 on the right hand side. I also need to minus 14 on the left hand side of the equal sign. So minus 14 right here. Originally, I also had a 14 right here. When I minus 14 on both sides, this 2 cancels out as well. So I already actually have x squared plus 2x equals to 0. Whenever you are dealing with x to the second power, well actually, whenever you are dealing with x to some power, you want to make one side equal to 0, and then you should first try to factor this. Notice that x squared plus 2x, they have an x in common. So to factor, I can factor out x first, and then put parentheses. And that's equal to 0. Originally, this term has x squared, x times x. I took one x out, so I have an x left, right? And then right here, I have 2 times x. I took the x out, so I have just plus 2. Then, after we have this side being factored, we can just use the zero product property. We can set each factor, the first one equal to 0, the second one equal to 0. So I will say set the first factor, which is just a boring x equal to 0. And that's pretty much one of the possible answer. Or the second factor, which we have x plus 2. I want to set that equal to 0. But x plus 2 equal to 0, to solve this, I can just subtract 2 on both sides. And then I get that's 0, I have x equals to negative 2. And let me make a big note right here. Because we are originally dealing with a rational equation, right? This is a rational equation that we are dealing with. The numbers that we found right here, these are just a possible solution. So I will just say we have two possible solutions. And let me emphasize, this is just possible, okay? Either x equal to 0 or x equal to -2. These are just two possible solutions. After all this calculation, these are just two possible solutions that we can get. Maybe they are both correct, maybe one of them is correct, maybe none of them is correct. So we must check. So original equation, let's plug in, let's look at the original equation. So I will say original equation. We have x over x plus 2 minus 7 over 5 minus x. That's equal to 14 over x squared minus 3x minus 10. So we need to check both for numbers, plugging 0 into x and plugging -2 into x. So check x equal to 0. And we also need to check x equal to -2. But I will do this one first. So plugging 0 into all the x's right here, and I get 0 over 0 plus 2, 0 plus 2, minus 7 over 5 minus, I see the x, so x is going to be replaced with 0. That's equal to 14 over x squared, which is 0 squared minus 3 times 0, that's 3x, and then minus 10. Okay? I'm just going to write down the form right here. We also need to plug in, we also need to check x equal to -2. So we also need to plug in -2 into all the x's right here. And I will get -2 over -2 plus 2. And then minus 7 over 5 minus -2, right? I have an x, so let me put -2 right here. And the last term, 14 on the top, over x squared, so parentheses square, -2 inside, and then have minus 3x, which is going to be a -2, and then minus 10. And what do we need to check? We actually don't need to do any calculations with the fraction. This is how you should do it. This is the only thing that you need to make sure. Whenever we have fractions, right? Whenever we have fractions, we need to make sure that the denominator is not equal to 0, right? We need to make sure the denominator is not equal to 0. So note, need to make sure the bottom that's not equal to 0. Otherwise, we have something over 0, then we are going to have a bad fraction, right? Because, for example, 7 over 0 is undefined. As we can see right here, we just need to look at the denominators. For this one, right, I already see a -2 plus 2. -2 plus 2, this will result as 0. And unfortunately, this 0 is on the denominator. So, this will ruin the possibility of x being -2 as a solution. X is equal to -2. This is actually not a solution because when you plug in -2 into x, you ruin this fraction, right? It ruins this fraction, which ruins everything. But let's check with x equal to 0. Just need to look at the denominators. Have 0 plus 2, which is 2. That's not 0, which is good. 5 minus 0 is 5. Good. 0 squared minus 3 times 0, that also becomes 0, and we have -10. Good. So none of the denominator is 0. X is the only solution. I mean, x equal to 0, it's the only solution. Must do the check, okay? Must do the check. Just in case if they trick you, you must do the check. Okay?